Okay, so here is an update on the Datsun Roadster for drive-by-wire. So we've got a 350Z drive-by-wire here that we had. This throttle body was sitting in the back of the shop. I don't know if it's any good or not, so we ended up cutting it up and we built a bracket for my quad throttles. And so we did make a YouTube short on this showing that it does in fact mechanically works. So my plan is to wire it up today. So we've got these two wires here. This is your motor positive and negative. Then you've got your 5-volt, and then in this little branch right here you've got sensor ground and then the two TPS signals. So we're gonna wire all this up here to the ECU, and then we're going to work on getting a throttle position sensor, aka the gas pedal, and then get that all wired up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this started here. We've got some WAGO connectors that we're gonna use just for temporary testing over here, and then we'll get this all situated. All right, so we have our WAGO connectors in place here for the TPS side. You'll notice that there are some of these two of these that have the 3-pin WAGOs, and that's because we're gonna need 5-volt and sensor ground respectively for the pedal position sensor. So I have these just kind of tapped in for now. We've got to find a pedal position sensor, and then from there we should be able to wire that up into the ECU and then have just a way of calibrating both the sensors for them to hopefully work. Okay, so this pedal position sensor I pulled off of some 2J type car. You can see the drive-by-wire motor is here. So you guys are probably looking at this and saying, well, this isn't a pedal position sensor. Yeah, it is. So Toyota early on didn't use an actual sensor on the gas pedal, so they still utilized the cable, as you can see here. And when you would obviously give a gas, it would rotate the throttle, and then thusly would give you pedal position. Now, what I do want to mention is hopefully you guys can see it from back here. Let me go ahead and move back here. You'll see that the throttle body actually doesn't even open with the pedal position sensor. So even with this all the way open, it's actually not doing anything. All right, so if you look here, you'll see that moving this pedal position sensor does nothing until the very end where you get a little bit, and that's the fail-safe mode. If you've ever had a second generation GS, this was a really common problem on them where the position sensor would fail one way or another and you would get this limp home mode all the time. But for our purposes it doesn't really matter, so let's go ahead and get this thing powered up and calibrated. Okay, so I grabbed another drive-by-wire throttle body because we were having some issues with the one that was in the car or on the manifold there, but it is a 350Z throttle body, excuse me. So it works, as you can see here. There is an issue with the pedal sensor though. If you play with it too much, it'll eventually error out, and it gives us an error for pedal position noise. But this is something that I grabbed right off of our shelf here, so I don't expect it to work that well, but it does work. Okay, so now I have it moved back over to our throttle body here for our drive-by-wire, and you can hear it's trying to move. And you can see the throttle attempting to move as well, but it just doesn't seem like it's actually doing anything. Yeah, so it tried to move, but I don't know, something is fishy here. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it almost seems like it's moving backwards on this throttle body. The wiring hasn't changed, and the sensors are as far as I can tell, these are the exact same in terms of how they are. Okay, yeah, so these are the exact same. So I wonder why it's not moving. Okay, so I'm back to the other throttle body here, and I'm going to just kind of open up the throttle, and we're gonna make note of which way the screws are turning, okay? Or which way the head of the screw faces. And so you see that the screws are actually facing this way, right? So it's rotating from the way we're looking at it, it's rotating clockwise. And so if I go here to this throttle body, or rather to the drive-by-wire setup here, you can see that it's also rotating clockwise as well. So I'm not too sure on why it's not moving. I guess there is a possibility that this motor just is not strong enough to move this, because even moving this by hand, there does seem to be like a good bit of resistance in this. And so I'm wondering if it's an issue with the return springs on the throttle themselves. So I think right now though, we've made some pretty good leaps and bounds of where we should be going with this. And so maybe, like I said, I guess we're gonna have to look back at this mechanically. So maybe there is just too much effort that's trying to be exerted onto the throttle body, and that's the reason why it's not opening. So here's the reason why I think there's just too much pressure exerting on this throttle body, that it's not able to actually drive our drive-by-wire or our throttles here. So I'm going to open this all the way. This is flat, so it's going to, the throttle blade is going to come into contact with this here, and you'll see that it doesn't even move the throttle body. Oh, never mind. Okay, it's not in contact. So let me try to put a little bit of resistance on this and see if I can get it to stop. So this is actually really hard to do here. I'm going to hold the throttle body shut here, and I'm going to open it. And then, as you can see, it doesn't take much effort before it starts to wig out, and then it throws an error, and then it shuts the throttle, which makes perfect sense because this is kind of a safety thing. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking there's just not enough. We're having some type of mechanical stop here where we're not able to get this to actuate our throttles. So like just by feeling by hand, it does take a bit of effort to get these going. So maybe that's the problem here. Another thing I was thinking about is that on the drive-by-wire, there's built-in springs into the motor, and so if I open it by hand, it just springs back on its own, right? So I'm wondering if there's an issue here, because these throttles are no different. There's a return spring not only on the inside the drive-by-wire, but there's also a return spring on these as well to help it return. So I'm going to just break this down and take a look at it and see, maybe I can figure something out. Maybe mechanically it's causing the problem, and then we'll go from there. So I was able to remove one of the screws here, and forgive me for the shoddy lighting here, but with one of the springs removed, we can actually get this to move a little bit more. So let me power this on real quick. And so we are onto something here, because now, like I said, it does in fact move. It does eventually error out because there's a lot of resistance on it. The downside is that the other spring is on this side, and we'd have to remove this throttle off, which is not a big deal, and then we can get that spring. But yeah, so we are making progress, and we are pretty correct on what the problem is. That is just too much resistance against the factory drive-by-wire motor. Alright, so our theory was right. These are the two springs that were on both throttles, so one over here and one over here. So we got them removed, and now it actually works. So let me go ahead and power this on. Okay, so now we got this powered on, and you can see when I go wide open throttle, it actually works like it's supposed to, and it actually does not freeze up like it did with the errors. So it's actually working pretty good. Let's see here. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that. It might be too dark there, but like I said, we've got basically the full range of motion. Now what we do not have though, and this could be the setting in the ECU, is that the throttle's not fully shut, and that could just be a target table that we have set up. Not a big deal, but like I said, the big news is that we can finally get it to open and close like it's supposed to without any issues on that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and power this thing up. And as you can see, the throttle is actually moving, or it moves like it's supposed to so on our target table, we have it barely cracked open, which is where it thinks idle is. Obviously it's not in a car, so it doesn't know. We haven't set any of that up yet. But the good news is that we can actually get this to actuate the full range like it's supposed to. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it because it might be too dark in the, yeah, it's, maybe you guys can see it. So you can see that the throttle opens up pretty good way. I don't know if it's fully opened or not, but it's moving a good way, and there's obviously going to be some mechanical adjustment as we need to, whether we need to open or close this, extend or close the rod, you know. But like I said, in testing though, it works like it's supposed to. So super thrilled about that.